Bitcoin's back on the move, pushing higher as Washington plays shut down chicken. Ethereum, Solana are catching a bid. XRP up off its back and slightly green. And setup for traders is getting real interesting. Stick around because we got levels, targets, and the playbook for the next move. Welcome back, Crypto Crew. It's your boy Tom here, bringing you the hottest in Bitcoin and crypto action. If you like what you see, give us a like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about crypto, Bitcoin all day, every day. We are insanely crypto, insanely maniacs. Yes, and a little bit of ADHD as well with that. All right, let's get right into it. Bitcoin up right now about 2.4% in the last 24 hours. Okay. Are we out of the woods? No, we are not out of the woods. However, as I said yesterday, the break above 112 is a very, very good sign, and we're going to get into like the playbook, the playbook right now, what we should be looking for, okay? So why is it up? Well, you could talk about safe haven flows as the U.S. Stares down a government shutdown. I always said that a government shutdown was a good thing. I mean, who the heck wants the U.S. government open? Shut them down. Don't need them. Okay, you got some of the crypto regulation in place. All right, now just go away, man. But anyway, so now all of a sudden the marketplace is actually believing that. They say, yeah, a shutdown is good. You know, it's soft dollar, Bitcoin's stronger. Traders are starting to rotate risk. Bitcoin is rising up about 2.4% to 112,003 in the last 24 hours, and that puts Bitcoin about 11% off its record high from last month. Okay, now we're working with always the do not close below chart. We always start with this because until we can clear the 124 or break down below the 107 or the 106 actually area, this is still good. The chart is still good. All right, now we put this chart up July 19th, 2025. And if you're new to the channel, if you've been under a rock, I don't know where you've been, that this is the hottest channel around. Make sure you tell all your friends about it, okay? You know, just get involved. All right, so right now as it stands, when we made the high 124,000 odd, we said that 115.7 was the line that we had to hold in order to break up higher towards the 130,000. Obviously, it did not hold, and we said if we broke lower, we had two specific target areas that we were looking to accumulate coin at. Okay. Now, we had the 109 buy area and the 106 buy area. So far, the marketplace has made the low of 107, like 1, I believe, was the actual low on this thing. Like, where is it? Right there. I think that's it. 107.370. I got 107.1 on another chart. So it all depends on what broke you have. Let's say, let's split it in the middle. Let's go 107.2. Does that make everybody happy? 107,002. All right, so that's the line in the sand right now. Yesterday, we were going over points that it needed to get over. We said that if it couldn't get over 112, the longer it stayed underneath 112, the more chance that we had for it to push down. I had a projected low at 104, like 78, 104,078 was a target low that was very, very important low for me as a measured move from the 124 odd high. So by it not touching it yet or closing below it, good sign for Bitcoin to start to continue upward. Now let's be, again, let's not get into all happy talk. We really have to talk about, as traders, we have to really understand something here. The lingering uncertainty over the potential U.S. government shutdown actually, helped push Bitcoin up because U.S. dollar yen took a dump. Now, dollar yen went from 149.95 to 148.46. It is slightly recovering right now. So the dollar actually, and that's the only one that really pushed down. I mean, if you look at sterling dollar and you look at euro dollar, those currencies have not really rallied that much at all. They're basically stuck in the mud right now. But dollar yen's been whipping around back and forth. So that's really what's been running the US dollar index. The movement up in the US dollar index because dollar yen rallies. The movement down is because dollar yen falls. So got to keep one eye on dollar yen. But technically speaking, all right, being above 112 is a very, very good thing. Now, we can't sugarcoat it, as I said. It's not all happy talk, all right, because Bitcoin has really been flat since mid-July, even months after a strong rallies driven by regulatory wins. But just last week, Bitcoin suffered losses as traders unwound aggressive Fed rate cut bets. Lowering borrow costs, usually juice crypto. So the Fed stance remains critical. So the bottom line of 112 right now is very, very important for it to hold. Now we're going to get into like where it needs to push away from to actually break away from this quagmire. All right, enough with this chart. Let's move on over to this chart right here. We still have scenario 1 playing out. Remember we said yesterday, we said that we could have one or two scenarios. The break below 107.1 would trigger scenario 2 to a deeper movement down. It would not mean, okay, for the short term, all right, for the short term, we would say we would bearish if we broke below 107.1. Now we're talking about, 8 to 12 hour charts, perhaps even up to the daily. But the weeklies were saying no. The only way that you're actually going into a bearish market is if Bitcoin breaks 68,500. Then you're bear. Very, very, very far away from that. So as it stands right now, it would be bearish short term if we broke 107.1. Okay. Now, as we said, it's been flat since mid-July. All right. So right now, Bitcoin needs to push away from this consolidation to reignite momentum. All right. So we said scenario 1 was, red candles are really the trap and the rally is the outcome. So you don't want to miss the trade of the decade. You're going to regret it forever. Now, listen, remember yesterday we were talking about fear and greed, right? You said fear builds the floor. Greed actually, sets the ceiling, right? Now, there's another maxim, okay, that we have to really remember, and it's by Sir John Templeton. If you're not familiar with that dude, you should really read up on him. He was an incredible trader, and what he said was, maximum pessimism creates maximum opportunity. So, we can actually see that actually playing out in the marketplace. We told you the black hats were trying to get you to sell the coin. So right now, scenario 1 is still holding up. I'm kind of happy to see that because I knew retail would be really, really disgruntled if we broke lower. They wouldn't really understand. But, really, you should get into our pro group. We'll explain these things to you. I've been around for 30 plus years doing this. I've seen markets do the most outrageous things only to reverse and do the next set of outrageous things. Markets are markets. They're not going to do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. They're just going to take their time doing what they're going to do, or they sometimes look like they're in a hurry to get someplace, and then all of a sudden they change their mind and go the opposite direction. So that's just the way it is. But remember always, maximum pessimism creates maximum opportunity. All right, so right now we still have scenario 1 playing, okay? This is the most important part. 101, look at that, 107, 150. Okay, on this chart, we got 107, 150. That's what I got. So that's the line in the sand. If that level breaks, we're going down into a deeper retracement. Perhaps even, like I said, we can perhaps even go to that 97,500 CME market gap that was not filled. That would be incredible if it happened. It would create chaos with the retail group, and we definitely have to be handing you guys out some Valium and like calming drinks, some chamomile tea or something. But if it happens, we'll guide you through it. So make sure you get into the pro group. We'll help you out. It's not happening right now. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying that I read the comments and I'm like, man, the thing with the crypto crew, the whole crypto community, you've had some bear markets. You just don't remember them. So, you gotta go back in time. You gotta study Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it sometimes has $40,000 deltas. I mean, crazy moves. Now we're starting to see it calm down, which is good. And why is it calming down? It's because, you got the big boys now in this thing, and they're not going to play in a market that's not calm. right? I mean, they don't like, $40,000 deltas. So they're actually going to be the ones supporting the marketplace. Now, you don't know when they're going to pull the rug out, and that because they're also black hats. They actually want to, set up everybody to, you know, buy and then pull the rug out and get them to sell back to them at a cheaper price. Now, who am I talking about? I'm talking about BlackRock. I'm talking about Vanguard. I'm talking about State Street. These groups did not build themselves up to be what they are by being nice. They didn't. They built themselves up to being, where they are by being ruthless and actually trading hard. So get in our group and we'll trade hard just against them. We're a bootstrap bunch of traders that basically make our own luck, and we have no safety net. They have safety nets. We don't have safety nets. Okay, so we're just bootstrap traders, So get in there and we'll help you out. All right, now look, this is what we're talking about. We're looking at the 2-hour chart, and as I said, we can't really sugarcoat this because we've been flat since mid-July. So now the bottom line is 112 is holding for now. But Bitcoin needs to push away from the consolidation to reignite momentum. All right, so here's a short-term technical read. We said this yesterday. All right, we said that when we came down to this level right here, we drew the line of support up off these lows. I went back in time and I went down to this demand point or this pivot low, came across and extrapolated a trend line there. Okay. From that point, we said, all right, this basically has to hold, or else this line is going to be in danger to break. If that line broke, we were trading down towards the 107.1. Okay. Also said on the reverse side, I said, if we can get through 112,000, right? I had like 111.6 was the point that I had. We can get through 111.6. That's a very, very good sign for Bitcoin to actually start to move up. So right now, the 108,600 has held. That's the line in the sand. Off that base, we have a natural rally that's in play right now. So the marketplace is starting to slowly grind up. Where's the resistance? Take a guess. 115, 115.7. That's the resistance. So how do you play this? Okay. How I would play it. Okay. I would say that there's a buy zone. So I would be looking for dips if it's possible. There's two ways to play this. There was a way to play it with a break of 111.6, get long. Stop loss 108.5. Okay? That's an aggressive play. All right, there's still another way to play this. If dollar yen continues to rally a little bit, this could cool. Bitcoin could cool again. Now, you would look for, if you're a short-term trader and you miss the buy at 111.6, all right, what you could do is simply look for a 0.618 retracement. And let's call it 110,000 from the 106 low to the 112, say 13 high so far. Now it's been up a little bit higher than that, but if you take the difference between the two and you multiply by 0.618, you're going to get like $110,000 pullback. So a little bit less than this breakout price of 111,006. So you're looking like right down to here, 110,000. You're looking for a pullback if you can get it to like there. So let's get a path. Let's do a little path here. So if you didn't buy the break here, okay, what you can be doing is, we know we have some resistance up in this area, 114, 115, okay? What you could be doing is you could be saying, all right, I want to come down and I want to buy the 110,000 if we can get it. Don't know if we're going to be able to get it. We should be able to get it. We should be able to get close to that. And you're expecting that to hold. The ultimate stop is the 108.6. Then you're looking for the marketplace to come back up and break through this top. If it does, it should then be using the 111.6 as support to take us back up to this time right here, the 115. So that would be the next level. Oops, I hate this thing. The next level of resistance, the 115. And of course, the 115.7 that we have planted. So hang on one second. Let me take you over to that chart. And this is the level right there, the 115.7. Okay, that's going to be some heavy duty resistance. So right now, the 112 is important. Could get a slip back down to the 110 area. That would be a good area to look for buys in Bitcoin to carry us back up through the 111, a little bit higher, maybe 112.8, 112.9, 113. Pull back down, should hold this level right now. It should hold 111.6. Now, if you want to be more aggressive with it, you wait for a pullback down to here. Maybe you do a partial. Maybe you buy, half your position. And if you get a deeper dip down to here, you buy the other half. So you're cost averaging down. If you don't think that if we're gonna actually break down lower. So that's what we got going on. So right now, that's really the play. So the next target upward is like 115.6 before the next consolidation levels on the board. That's a clean setup. It's simple. Risk is defined. Upside is measured. All right. So we know that Bitcoin is actually repeating history. If we come back and we look at this 2024 against 2025, okay, unbelievable 7% dump into a vertical rally. We've had about a 7% dump. Maybe we could go a little bit lower. So the script hasn't changed yet. The weekend's sold into the dip. We told you yesterday, don't be fearful. We knew the black hats were trying to actually push it down, get you guys to sell, get everybody to sell. We've held strong. Hope what you did as well. But the weekend's hold into the dip. The strong hands are going to, they're going to ride the next rally upward. Now, the key will be once we break up above the 115.7. Now, there's an all-important indicator that we have to make sure we pay attention to, and it's the 50 EMA, and we call it like a Bitcoin cheat sheet. So I want to take you over to this chart right here, the 50-week EMA, I'm sorry. Once we're above this, every bounce was a vertical rally. So every break is capitulation. So right now, we're above it. 50-week EMA was what we call the Bitcoin cheat code. Q4 survival or destruction depends on this line. It really does. Okay, so forward looking, we know that Bitcoin is going much higher, but we gotta keep this in mind. The 50-week EMA is so important for us, and we're going to be watching it and monitoring. That's why I say get into our pro group, and we got all this stuff covered. We got different traders looking at different things, saying, "Hey, check out where the 50-month EMA is, man, or 50-week EMA." Sorry. All right, so let's look. We know Bitcoin's final act. All right, now this is, we see it coming. As long as we hold the 50-week EMA, we're seeing the marketplace rally up 2024, 2026, Q4, 2025, I'm sorry. 2026, we're looking at like 200,000 before we could possibly see a breakdown of that back down to 100. Now, obviously, very forward-looking. Would be wonderful it happened tomorrow. But we're monitoring it. We're saying that this is the projected target before we get the pullback. Of course, we're going to have stops at 130. Of course, we're going to have stops at 145. Of course, we're going to have stops at like 154. Okay, there's going to be lots of different places that there's going to be profit taken and reaccumulation again. But we're thinking overall $200,000 by the first quarter of 2026. Okay, and we'll alert you to it, all right? So don't just take screenshots up here, we'll be telling you. So if you get into our group, we'll be telling you, hey, we're close to, selling some out to rebuy again. Not that it's over. Nothing's over. Nothing. Nothing's over. All right, so let's check out Ethereum. That was from, if you remember that movie, it was Sylvester Stallone in, I think it was First Blood. I think he said that when come on, it's over. Nothing's over. Nothing's over. Exactly. Let's go over to Ethereum. All right, we're looking at Ethereum right here. Look, 45 days of June chop is explosion. Okay. September chop, 46 days, same script. We're at day 51. Okay. The longer the squeeze, the harder the detonation in Ethereum. Ethereum is holding right now 4,100. It's up nearly 3%. Exchange balances are hitting a 9-year low. We showed you yesterday the whales were scooping, buying Ethereum. So on the institutional side, ETF approvals are opening up the floodgates. Now, Citi is calling for a target of 4,300 by the end of the quarter. Standard Charter says 7,500. We say 6 grand. Now take your pick. Longer term, the bid's real, and it's on the move. It is definitely on the move. So if you look at this, we're going to show you like the breakout fake outs. Here it is. Ethereum trapped to crowds again. Liquidity grabs. RSI reset to oversold. This is the exact setup that birthed every violent move upward. Strong hands know it. Weak hands are not, you don't have no idea about it, and they sell. Okay? So the script never changes. Neither does the outcome. Please don't say you sold the bottom. If you did, get back in. That's our suggestion, okay? Of course, trade with your head not over it, all right? Ethereum is really stacking some bullish confirmations. We showed you this yesterday. I'm going to show it to you again. We got hidden bullish divergence on this chart. And really, if you look at the channel is the breakout. We didn't even make it down to 3,600. We came down to what? The low of 3,825. We had a definite scoop point at 3,008. Now we're starting to see the breakout right there. So the resistance is flipped to support. We got channel support, hidden bullish divergence flashing. 3 signals on Ethereum. There's one outcome. Liftoff isn't a question. It's a countdown. It's a countdown. Now let's move on over to good old Bitcoin dominance, right? Because this is up, and it's kind of throwing it's throwing a monkey wrench into the works right now, but it's all cool. It's all good. All right, checking out Bitcoin dominance. It's about the same as yesterday. It's at 58.74. We broke the trend line, so we're actually moving down. Now, in order for alts to really start kicking off, we need to have this thing down below like 57.5. Okay, as Bitcoin stabilizes, okay, then the altcoins are going to take off. So really, if you look at altcoins, themselves, you got Solana that's up 3.4% right now. You get XRP that's up 3.5 off of a good bounce. It's up off its back. You got whales sniffing around, looking for some tokens like Apex, Aster, small caps like WLFI, Pepe, POL. Red flag for the whole altcoin market is token unlocks. SUI, EGen could see supply shocks. So yes, alt flows are starting, but you got to keep your tight stop with it. Your tights stop. Your stops tight. Oh man. Okay. So if we look at altcoins themselves, all right, we got 3 years of bleed in one move. We got Bitcoin dominance that cracks. Alt setups are moving into their super cycle. So what comes next? We're going to have a parabolic mania. We're definitely going to have a parabolic mania. Now, if you so this is the setup that everybody seems to be missing. Everybody keeps talking about, oh my gosh, it hasn't started yet. But look, Bitcoin dominance is still a little bit high right now. Just be patient, okay? We're almost there. So don't you dare give up now. Don't give up now. All right. So before we wrap up, I got to let you know about our crypto trading community, which is totally free to join. It's what I've been alluding to. I'm going to take you over to the link in the description. However, you could find a bonus if you follow us on X. We drop these little cutesy bonuses, and I want to show it to you right now. Here's a cutesy little bonus on X, right, where you can unlock 20% welcome bonus, 0% fees forever. We X. All right, let me take you over to the description where I can show you where you can join our crypto trading community, where we drop insane alpha and trading opportunities daily. You click this link right here, you'll be taken over to a Telegram trading community where you can sign up for free. Here, if you click this link, basically the same thing as you get that free cutesy over there on this X post that I just showed you, where you can get, look, Zero fees forever. That's a cutesy little bonus, right? Come on over here if you want. Now, look, we teamed up with BTCC, $500 giveaway for new users, fast, clean, built for serious traders. We totally back this broker as well. So, you want to join and level up your trades? Make sure you click this link. You join our trading community. All right, now one last chart for altcoins, and it's the infamous cup and handle chart. We can say that the cup was built in blood. It was, okay? The handle was built in fear. We are getting the breakout. What comes next, as I showed you in the other chart, parabolic mania, multi-trillion cap is destiny. Look, don't forget who's behind all of this. All the big boys are behind this now. In 2017, those rallies in 2017 were just built on hype. But they were built on good hype. I'm not saying they weren't, because people actually had a vision of where this marketplace was going. But now you got BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, all those boys are in this. Believe me, they're going to pin this thing, and of course, they're going to whip it around where they try to, fake you out. Remember, as we said, what did Sir Templeton said, right? Maximum pessimism creates maximum opportunity, right? So don't forget that saying. All right, so here's the rundown, right? Bitcoin holding right now 1086, trading up a little bit higher right now at 112, 104 right now. It said we could get a pullback down to the 111.6. If you're a really aggressive trader, you'd want to scoop that with a stop below the 108.6. I'm thinking we could potentially get a pullback down to like 110, 110 and a half for the next rally upward to use the 111.6 as a push. If you did not buy this, you could do the wait, or you could do the wait or gate. Wait or gate means you just buy it out of the gate. Okay, the wait is the wait. You don't know if we're going to get it. We could potentially get it. All right, so we got Ethereum right now holding steady at 4,100. What Ethereum needs to do is it needs to surpass 4,500 to actually trigger this movement back upward towards the 4,800 to 5,000 psychological level. So, alts are starting to perk up. We got a big week ahead. Stay sharp. Trade smart, trade with your head, not over it, and make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X when we talk about crypto, Bitcoin, all altcoins, all day, every day with crypto maniacs. So what do you got to do? Well, you got to seriously think about joining our free community, because you can't beat the price, right? You can always get your money back. It's free, right? Second thing you got to do, you got to trade with your head, not over it. I do not offer financial advice. I'm just a trader like you. Okay, so this is not financial advice. Third thing you have to do is you got to do your own research if you don't join our group, because we do the research for you. And of course, the most important thing you got to do as a short-term trader is enjoy the party, but dance near the door. I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.